What's up guys, John with Gaming Through the Decades here, and we are back with another video. And today I want to talk about the topic of emulation. It's a sensitive topic to some people. It can be a hot topic depending on who you're talking to, but I just want to go ahead and kind of put my thoughts out there on how I feel about emulation. Alright guys, so let's kick it off. First, I kind of want to just talk about, first of all, the big elephant in the room. Is emulation illegal? Is it wrong? There tends to be a large gray area here, and when I mean large, I mean like Grand Canyon massive large. The way I look at emulation is, if a company like Nintendo or a developer can still make money off of a game, there's your area of where it can kind of be iffy. A good example of this would be Nintendo's online virtual store. They resell a lot of their older games, Mario's, all their Mario titles. You can go through and you can download and pay for these older titles. A lot of people will say, well, that's emulation. That's not right. They're paying you to emulate a game. Okay, well, Nintendo owns those games. They own the right to those games. They can build a case to go after somebody for illegally downloading or infringing on copyright because they were emulating. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But they have a case because the capability of them still making money off of that product is still there. You are indirectly, essentially, taking money out of their pocket by emulating those games because you have the option to buy it. Now, is it wrong for me to emulate a game like, Centipede or some other older titles? The developers aren't around anymore. They don't make games, and the only other way to get the game would be to go to a store or flea market and purchase the game. Is it wrong? Probably not, because nobody is losing money other than the store, which really, they're not losing money anyways because they still have to have the game. No one is losing money there. So that's kind of your gray area. If the company can still make money off of these games, you can have a case to argue that it's not right. Now let's just kind of talk about some good times when, or some times when you might want to emulate, and these are times that I will emulate. The first one is if a game is way too expensive and I'm not going to spend, $40, $50, $60, $100, $200 for the actual cartridge. And a lot of these games that are rare, I might have never played before. So I'll give you an example. Conkers. I've actually never played Conkers before I emulated it. And I'm glad I emulated it because I know that I probably don't want to spend 90 bucks on it. It's not for me, it's not worth the money. Now to some people it might be because it might hold like a certain nostalgia factor. That's fine, go ahead and pay 90 bucks for it. Obviously, there are people out there who absolutely want to have physical copies first. And obviously you can see that I obviously prefer physical copies of games. For me, I like to have the consoles and the games that I actually grew up playing. So outside of a Genesis, a PlayStation, Nintendo, what else do I have? The 64. I really could care less. I'm not going to go buy a $100 PC Engine or $150 TurboGrafx 16, so I could have a few games that I've never played before and I'm really not emotionally attached to them to begin with. So that's a good opportunity for me to emulate those, and I think it's absolutely fine in that case. Now, I've heard some people say that they might if they start emulating, that they would become too spoiled with all the games that they have available to them. And I can kind of understand that concept if you've never emulated before, that all of a sudden you're opened up to essentially every title that's ever been made. So I can kind of see where that resistance is there. And honestly, I can tell you, for me, that's not the case. I might have like, 10 to 20 games per console that I'll only emulate because, like I said, I can't afford them. They're incredibly hard to find. And not only that, but I don't want to wait to find the actual game. So just because I may emulate something doesn't mean I'm still going to go out and actually want the physical copy of the disc. I can tell you that if you're going to be too spoiled of too many games, think of how long it would take you to download thousands and thousands of games and then go through all those and jump around and play those. If you have that much time, more power to you, but that's certainly not my case. Now, one of the biggest things, obviously, I can understand is that people actually want to have that feeling of nostalgia. Some people go as far as obviously hooking their Genesis and that. They have rooms where it's a CRT TV only, and I totally get that. And obviously that's something that emulation is never going to give you. Now, they do make some pretty good clone USB controllers at a reasonable price. For less than 20 bucks you can get online. You can get clones of like N64 and GameCube controllers and Genesis controllers and Super Nintendo controllers. I mean, the list goes on and on. So they do have that, but I definitely do understand owning the physical console and the cartridge. Like I said, the games I collect for are consoles that I had growing up that I have a certain attachment to. So if you're looking for that, emulation's not always going to be the best route to go. I mean, that's my theory on and my thoughts and opinions on emulation. Like I said, for one, I emulate for a couple of reasons. One, games I want to play that I can't afford. Two, games that I may be trying to preview first and I don't want to take a big risk. I don't want to take a $40, $50, $60 risk on a game I may not like, and then I'm not really going to get much back-end trade value anyways. Guys, I don't like taking risks on $60 games for the modern era consoles, so I'm definitely not going to take a risk on an older game that I've never played before. So this gives me a chance to preview the game first, and if I like it, then I can go ahead and make the commitment to spend $60 on the game. Yeah, so let me know what your guys' theory is on emulation. I do understand why there's such a big debate. There are some people out there, so some collectors can be kind of strange that they have to have a game and they look down on emulation. And I just don't think that's a good, it's not a good aspect to have. That's not a good view to have, because it does really kind of lock you out of any other opinions. And I do like talking to others who may be just getting into retro gaming and they're not sure which route they want to go. And this absolutely is a good option. I mean, it's not one of those things where Nintendo is going to come, knock your doors down, or these developers are going to kick your doors down because you downloaded a ROM. If emulation was like pirating a movie, we would know about it. There'd be, sites getting shut down and lawsuits, and we'd know about it. So, like I said, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about emulation? Let me know if you're like strictly against emulation. We can have like a little debate in the comment section without arguing. We can't fight. So, again, guys, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for liking the video. If you like what you see on the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.